Hey Joy family, I'm joining you here from the steps of Joy Community Fellowship on this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. You see the flowers are starting to bloom behind me and it's starting to look more like spring. And actually being March, it's a time where we're missing it this year, but March Madness for NCAA basketball. And as I was thinking about missing out on it, I was thinking back to some of the great tournaments in history, and one of the greatest games probably and runs in NCAA tournament history was in 1983. The North Carolina State Wolfpack, led by their charismatic coach Jim Valvano, went all the way to the finals, going against University of Houston, who was basically unstoppable, and yet NC State beat them on a last-second dunk, and it was amazing. And I still remember Jim Valvano running around the court looking for somebody to hug because he was so excited that they won the game. But and Jim Valvano really led that team through his encouragement and through his fiery personality and his love for his players, and just kind of etched himself in the fabric of sports history in America as such a great coach. And then the next probably major time we saw Jim Valvano was in 1993. He was now battling terminal cancer, and he received an ESPY award from ESPN, the Arthur Ashe Humanitarian Award. And he was in his weakened state. He almost didn't make it to the awards, but as he stood up to give his speech, he gave probably one of the most famous speeches in ESPY history, at least, where he stood in front of the crowd and he said, you know, I don't know how much time I have left, but what I want to share with you today is 3 things that you can do each and every day to make your life rich, to make your life well lived. And as he shared those 3 things, they were incredible things to share. The first was to laugh every day. The second was to think every day, to engage your mind. And then the third was to be moved to tears about something each and every day. And those are encouraging words, aren't they? And it's gets us through a lot in life. But you know, there are certain things in life that they won't get us through. They really won't. We face crises. We face circumstances that hit us in life. And the coronavirus pandemic, I guess, is something that has hit this world and has really knocked us for a loop. And as followers of Christ, it also can knock us for a loop because we're so used to being with each other, being at church. This past Sunday was so weird in one sense. Just kind of strange to talk to an empty room and looking at a camera instead of looking at all your faces out there. And but it helped that I was trying to imagine everybody's faces. And, you know, it was probably nice for you. You got to come to church in your pajamas and sit with your dog, and that was kind of nice. But it still is a lot to get used to. And what I wanted to share with you this morning is kind of along the lines of Jim Valvano, but as followers of Jesus, when we face crisis in our world, in our lives, you know, it could be sickness, it could be things like this where we're restricted to our homes and quarantined and facing all kinds of stresses, you know, with our kids, with trying to get them to do their schoolwork at home when they don't really want to, and we still have to get work done, and we have to worry that we still have everything we need to get through this, and then all the social distancing and everything like that. How do we get the most out of our day? How do we have a life well lived as a follower of Jesus? So as we're quarantined, as we're spending this time, I want to encourage you to make the most of your time and make the most of this time with your family and also with your God. That this is a time we can really spend with God and have Him grow us. So I want to share with you 3 things that we can do each and every day as we're facing this quarantine and restrictions and the lockdown. 3 things we can do each and every day to make the most of our times as followers of Jesus. So here they go, without any further ado. The first is to be taught by God each and every day. Get in God's Word, get in a devotional book, spend time with God to hear from Him. And not just to hear from Him so you can get new facts, so you can win Bible trivia and things like that, but so that you can hear from Him something transformational in your life, something that you can learn to trust Him in a new way each and every day. So it's some way that your life can look different because of your time spent with God. And along with that, get into God's Word. We're going to be having some challenges coming up here. Twice a week, we're going to be going through God's Word together coming up starting this Thursday. So great opportunity, but you can pick up a devotional book. We have daily breads here at the church. If you don't have a devotion book and you just want to start just with daily bread, instant message me, direct message me, whatever. You can email me at pastormark@joynj.org, and I'll make sure we can deliver one to you. We'll drop one off at your front door or something like that so that you can have something where you can be learning from God each and every day. Second, worship. You know, that might be one of the hardest things why we're kind of cooped up and things like that, because we've come to equate worship with, oh, we go to church and we sing songs and that's worship. But there's other ways that we can worship God, that we can respond to Him for all that He is in our life. And we enrich our lives when we can worship Him each and every day, where we can find something to thank Him for, some way that we can respond to Him in awe and in trust of Him. So each and every day we should have our heart moved in worship. And some different ways we can do that is to spend time in prayer thanking Him, not just praying for things, but thanking Him for things. Maybe something new each and every day that you're thankful for about Him. Another way is maybe keep a journal. Write a letter of thanks to Him each and every day. It doesn't have to be long, but a letter of thanks. And a third way that you can worship each and every day is get on YouTube. There's so many great worship videos. A lot of the songs we sing at church you can find on YouTube in videos, and there's bands out right now that are putting up live worship and things during this time on Facebooks and things where you can follow them. But don't let the fact that we can't be together on Sunday stifle your worship of God. So find time and find different ways that you can worship God and seek Him in that way. And then third and finally, and this is a biggie, and this is going to kind of sound funny, but fellowship together each and every day. When you can spend time with other believers, and you say, well, how can I do that? We're locked down. We have to keep 6 feet apart. We're not supposed to be going out or anything like that. Well, you can find other ways that you can encourage each other, that you can learn from each other, that you can share with each other, that you can pray with each other. One is on the phone. Call each other. Call somebody new each and every day just to kind of call them, check in on them, pray for them. Another way is through social media or texting, and you can text people. Another way is, you know what, maybe you're out for a walk and you can keep 6 feet apart and still be out and talk with people. But find ways that you can fellowship. Again, don't neglect. We started this year with our challenge together, Enjoy Together, and we talked about don't neglect the joining together, the fellowship together. And just because we're separated physically doesn't mean we can't have virtual fellowship with each other. So find ways you can do that. It's been neat watching some of the text groups form and sharing scriptures with each other. So those are 3 things I want to encourage you with today. Learn something from God each and every day that you can live differently and trust Him differently each and every day. Second, worship God. Find ways that you can seek Him and follow Him and appreciate Him new each and every day. And then third, fellowship together. Find ways that you can get with other believers, maybe in your own family or maybe outside the home where you're calling them or something like that, to be lifted up in fellowship. And if we can do those 3 things, not only during the coronavirus crisis, but if we can do those things each and every day, man, we have a life well lived, a life where people can see Jesus in and through us. So that's your encouragement for today. Have a great day and a great week.